Well, hello, hello, hello. This is Rosa RCG Creations. How are you doing? I'm bringing you today a banana bread in the bread machine. Okay, let's get started so I can go ahead and get it rolling because I'm making two batches in the bread machine. First one's going to have no nuts in it. The second one's going to have nuts in it. Okay, our ingredients are, and I've already pre-measured everything, 1/4 teaspoon salt, pre-measured. Let's see. Oh, you know what? I forgot. I need to, because this is in the bread machine, I need to get my eggs, which are already scrambled, bananas, which are already pureed, my butter, the sugar, mix, and then put it in the machine. Okay, so I'll bring you right back when I've done that. Okay, I'm back. Actually, I was incorrect. I had my wrong notes. Had two different notes, one for oven making and one for bread machine making. We're doing the bread machine making today. Okay, so what we're going to do is put all the wet ingredients in first. The recipe calls for 2/3 cup of milk. And I've already pre-measured everything to make it faster, because I definitely want us to have the video stay under 15 minutes. Okay, so all my wet ingredients are going to go in first. The 2 eggs. Where did I put my eggs? Oh. My 2 eggs. Okay, and then the bananas. That was 2 bananas, pureed. So mash them as much as you. I mashed mine by hand with a fork and with a whisk. I could have used my blend mixer or something, but it's like I didn't want to get something else dirty. I'm already gonna have a bunch of dirty dishes. Okay, and then let's see. That's the and then the two. I already got the 2 eggs in. Okay, so the vanilla. Where's my vanilla? So this is from my made from scratch homemade vanilla I made 5 years ago. And I will be, of course, putting in the instructions, all the ingredients and the recipes and the whole thing. Okay, first thing you want to do is you're going to spray your pan with cooking non-stick spray so it doesn't stick. Okay. So I got my eggs in there, got the bananas in there. Okay. And then next we're going to do the salt, which I just put it in there a while ago. I messed up, but that's okay. Baking soda. That was the salt. There's the baking soda. Baking powder. I already got the milk, got the bananas. 2.5 cups of flour. 2.5 cups of flour. 1/2 cup of butter. Oop, let me get a knife. Okay, my butter. And it is softened butter. And you can soften it in room temperature or put in the microwave, however you want to do it, but you want it soft. Okay, so there's my butter. I already got my sugar. Oh, my sugar goes in next. And I'm going to scrape it because I measured my banana in here. It's 2 cups. For me, 2 bananas equaled, and again, it depends on the size of bananas that you've got. But I went ahead and measured it. I ended up using 5. There was 3 little ones and 2 big ones. So I made an even amount of 4 cups. So I just cut it in half. because I'm going to be doing a double batch. Okay, there's the sugar and everything else. Okay, so I'm going to close this up. We're going to put this on quick bread. Oops, sorry, I need my glasses. So we're going to select it until it comes to the quick bread. I'm going to do light because I don't really want it dark. So it's going to bake for 1 hour and 50 minutes. Let's set it. We're ready to roll. Okay, you hear that? I'm going to show you. There it is. See? There it is doing its stuff. Doing its mixing. See, this is the good part about when you do it in the bread machine. Is you don't... I'm putting you back on my little stand. My tripod bit the dust. It's totally broken. But anyway, I've got a little tall little container. It's actually like those little round cracker containers. But it fits perfect on that. It's just the right height. The one good thing about between the oven and the bread machine is you just pour the ingredients and walk away and do other things. Like in my case, I'm going to pre-measure everything to get ready for my next batch. And that way, I'm done. Roughly, it's about an hour and 15 minutes. So that's, let's just say 3 hours between the two time frames together, because 60 minutes is an hour. So 1, 2, 3. So about 6 hours. But then prepping and mixing, I would say it took me about 15-20 minutes to get everything prepped, measured, set up, and put in the little containers. Typically, I would just pour it and go, but since I want to do a video this time, it took me a little bit longer. And then I'm going to wash. Then I'll get to wash my dishes and put everything away. Okay, so we'll catch you when the bread machine is over with. We'll bring you back then. Okay, I'm bringing you back. I forgot I had a second bread machine. This one is the oyster. And basically, I'm going to do the exact same directions that I did the first one and put everything in the same format. Okay, I'll put everything in there and then I'll bring you right back. Okay, I got all my stuff. What I'm going to do first is my wet ingredients, which will be the milk, 2/3 cup of milk. Don't forget to spray your pan with cooking spray so it doesn't stick. And then eggs, 2 eggs. And since this is going to be done, I can put all that away. My homemade vanilla. I wish you could smell, because it smells so much better than the store-bought stuff. And then my bananas. Then my dry ingredients. Let's see, this one is baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder. Now, if you're using bread machine flour, don't use the baking powder. Okay, and then we're going to do the 1 cup of sugar. I'm getting all of it because I did use this to measure everything out. And then my butter, which, how much butter did I use? Calls for 1/2 cup of butter. This is melted. It's been at room temperature this whole time. So it's pretty soft. Get this out of the camera view. And then we're going to do the flour next. And this batch we're going to be putting in the nuts, because this one's going to be banana nut. The first one was just plain banana. save my spatula. So after about 15-20 minutes, when it starts mixing, you want to get a spatula and scrape all the stuff that did not get mixed, but probably most of it will get mixed. Close your lid, set your timer. Mine, I'm going to go ahead, bear with me, I need to glad my reader so I can see what I'm doing. I'm putting it, it's on sweet, light, and it's going to take about 3 hours and 10 minutes to cook. So I'm done. I'm going to hit start because I already set everything. Okay. Let me bring you to... Sorry about that. I want to show you. See? There it is. It's doing its thing. And on this particular one, this is the oyster one. The first one is, my first machine is, oh, it's an oyster too. It's just a different model. It was a gift. The second one was a gift. The first one I purchased. But it says on this one is an oyster 2-pound express baked bread maker, number 58, model number 5821. And then when you're doing sweet bread, because this is considered sweet bread from everything that I read, when it comes to about 55 minutes from now is when I would add the pecans to make the banana bread. I'm using pecans instead of walnuts or almonds. I'm using pecans just because that's what I have on hand. So that's it at about 55 minutes. So I'm going to set my timer for 55 minutes because I got other chores to do. So I'm going to have my alarm come back here, and I've got cut up and ground up. And I baked these pecans. So they've been baked before. So I like baked pecans. Going to put that in there. And then we'll mix it up and then we'll see where we're at now. The first bread machine only has 27 minutes left. Let me bring you over there to that one. I don't want to open up the lid because it's baking. I don't know if you could see that. I can't really tell. But I'm not going to do it because it is, I can see that it is baking. And it has risen. It's starting to smell good. Okay, we'll bring you back when they're both done. And then we're going to do a taste test of each one. Okay, I want to show you. When it's doing the mixing part, you see how some of this flour is against the pan? Okay, that's one beep. I'm just getting my spatula so it all gets incorporated in the mix. I should have done this a little bit sooner, but I was doing my dishes of my stuff that I got all dirty. But I think it's pretty much done. Now I'm just going to finish letting it do its thing. We're at 2.55 minutes on it. So now we'll wait till it's done. Okay, I went ahead and it was time to add the nuts. So I added the nuts and I stirred it up. So I'm going to go ahead and close it and let it finish its cycle. And there's where it's at. And then the other one, let me move slowly over here, is ready. It was actually ready over 30 minutes ago, but it does the recipe book, not the recipe, the user's manual. I have the user's manual for each one of these. It says to let it sit for 30 minutes before you take it out and slice it. So I'm going to get my gloves because in case this is hot. It's warm, but it's not burning up, but I still don't want to burn myself. So let me get my gloves. And look at that. Isn't that pretty? Oh yeah, as soon as your machine is done, you want to open up your lid so you don't get a whole bunch of moisture on the bread itself. So now we're going to dump it. See if I can do this correctly. Good. I did. I'm just going to shake it for it to come out. Okay. I mean, move this out of the way so it's not hot. Let me grab a knife. It looks nice, but I don't think it all cooked all the way through because look, I saw this when I dumped it over. Look, the center didn't cook. Oh man, let me grab another plate. I think this happened to me last time too. I believe we found out it was the flour. Now my flour, I used whole wheat flour, was over 6 months old. And I'm curious, because look, the whole inside didn't cook. And stuff, so... this was definitely a fail. And I'm going to be going to the store tomorrow anyway. So I'm going to do this again. But it's a shame that I got those bananas and all that. And it didn't come out good. But you know, I'm still going to do a little bit of a taste test. Let me get this part off of here. Because I can always put this back in the oven. And this will cook just fine. Because all it is the dough that didn't cook. In fact, that's probably what I'm going to end up doing. Because I don't want to waste it. So I'm going to put that in a smaller pan and cook that in the oven. Since I have to wait for this other one anyway. But let's do a small taste test of the part that did bake. And let me bring you to some light so you can see. You see that it is nice and flaky. Sorry I had it so close to you there. I'm one-handed here. One hand holding the camera, the other hand holding the fork. So let's take a quick taste. In fact, I'm going to have you see me eat. I hope I'm in focus. Oh, I can tell I'm not. The camera's angled up. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and take a bite. The outside's a little on the crunchy side. It's still a little doughy, but it does taste good. So I still say this is a fail, but again, I don't know, was it my flour that was too old? Because the same thing happened. The last time I was making regular bread, I did the same thing. And then when I went and got brand new store-bought fresh flour, it turned out perfect. So, and here's a piece. It really is good. It's good and yummy. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in a container and then put it in the oven and I'm going to bake it. And I'll bring you back to that one. Hopefully this other one, because it was from the same batch of flour, I hope it doesn't turn out the same way. But we'll find out. Okay, we're back with the second batch. It looks nice. It's still kind of hot. So I'll put my gloves on. But here's what it looks like. I'm going to dump it over. Same thing. So you know what? It has to be the flour. The inside is not cooked. So it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I have to go to work tomorrow. I'm not going to do this now. I'll do it tomorrow. I'm going to put a towel over this. Let it sit an hour and a half once it's cooled off. I'm going to put it in the fridge and bake it. Let me show you this. Here's the stuff from the first batch that I did bake. And it actually tastes really, really good. And I like banana bread crunchy. Hubby does not. So this will be my portion. But I am taking it to gathering to give to some friends. So, but it does taste good. But it just didn't rise. So I'm sure it's the flour. But anyway, this was a fail. And I'll bring you back when I get this other batch done. And we'll go from there. Well, actually, I'm going to show you. Here's the one I just took out that I thought was a fail, but it turned out really pretty. It's kind of hot. See? But I'm going to see how much of it cooked and how much of it did not. Because, see, there's part that came out. So let's slice this thing. And I think it's just the center part that didn't bake. Oh, actually, the whole thing baked. Look. Awesome. So it was just the top layer. Let me show you. It really did bake really well. You can see the seam. It's hot. So it was just that top layer that didn't bake. So this was a good one. It was not a fail. Let me just get this out of the way because, like I said, it's 1 o'clock in the morning and I'm exhausted. Long day at work. And this was fun, but it's exhausting. I'm no spring chicken. I'm 61 years old, so I'm not young anymore. Can't handle this a few hours of sleep. Okay, so let me I'm just taking this apart because I just want to see. Okay, yeah, that's where it was. See that? Let me bring this up to you. See that part in the bottom there? That's the part that didn't cook, which is the top part of the dough. But the rest of it cooked. So you know what? It's just a little bit of amount. I'm just going to throw that part away. I'm not going to bother with it. So this one was a good one. That one was like in the middle because it does taste good. But but the whole point of doing it in the bread machine was I didn't want to do all this. That was the whole point of it. And let me show you. I got 4 muffins out of this last batch here. Oh, they stuck to the paper. And I think it's because of all the dough. It was so gooey. So this is definitely not something I'm taking to anybody. Throw this in the garbage. And let's just see what it looks like. Well, it does look good. I definitely won't be taking these to anybody. Definitely is banana bread. And it is crunchy on the outside and soft on the inside. That's a positive. But because they're stuck to the paper, I'm not used to doing muffins. Usually I just put them in the pan, but I didn't want to bother with it. So I should have sprayed Pam some kind of non-stick spray inside the muffin paper. Never did. But I don't know. But anyway, you live and learn. Thank you so much for watching. We catch you in the next video. I am going to the store tomorrow and I'm buying fresh bread, and I'm going to do the same recipe again to see if the reason that the fail of it didn't cook all the way through was because of the flour being old. Okay, we'll find out. We'll catch you back. Hey, this is Rose RCG Creations. How you doing? Bringing you to a part 2 of the making banana bread in the bread machine. Remember, it's not going to be together in the same video, but what I'm doing now is I went ahead and bought brand new, fresh whole wheat flour. I had it in the freezer for the last 5 days. And I keep it in the freezer for about 5 days. 5 to 7 days, it just varies. Just to make sure there's any weebles and little buggies and all that, they get killed, okay? And then I put some in my little container that I keep in the pantry, and then I put the other ones in a mason jar, and I vacuum pack it dry, okay? I'll have a separate video for that. But today is I'm going to be making now, because I thought my first part of this video, they were kind of a flop, because the dough didn't cook all the way, and I think it was because the flour was too old, but we're going to check. I'm not going to go through the whole thing again, because all I'm doing now is making the exact same recipe, but with fresh flour. That's the only thing different. So I'm going to go ahead and get it started, put it in both machines, the same ones I had before, and we'll go from there. Okay, we'll bring it back. Okay, we're back. On this banana bread, where I used fresh flour, just newly bought at the store, and yeah, it's cooled off. And there's one. Okay. Turn that upside down. Okay, and then let's get this one out. Oh, wait a minute. I don't want to contaminate these because one's got nuts in it, one doesn't. I'm taking these to a function tomorrow. Let me get a napkin. Okay. Now this one is the one with the nuts. This one is the one without the nuts. Okay, so you can see that's nice and pretty, but I will tell you this. It did not bake all the way through. Both of these did not bake all the way through. I ended up having to put it in the oven for about 45 minutes. I put it at 325 and I got this. So let's just see what this is like. Because I'm going to slice this up for tomorrow's function. And I used my cake tester just to make sure that it was done. And look how pretty. Turned out really good. So I don't know if both of these machines are well over 15 years old. It could be just the heating cycle is going out on them. But I'm going to do, I still have another batch of the old wheat flour. I'm just going to make some regular bread. Just regular plain bread in both of the machines. And if they work great, then that means it's either this recipe, but I don't know, because I've used this recipe I don't know how many times in the exact same two machines and it's worked out great. So I don't know what it is. But we'll see, wait and see. But let's do the taste test, because you know I have to do a taste test. So now this is some good, this is banana nut bread. Okay. Now, let me pause this and I'll clean this up and then I'll do the other one. That's just plain banana bread. Okay, now we're going to do the other one. I just washed everything with soap and water because you never know who has nut allergies. And I got 2 left for me, but I went and letting them cool off. Because you never know if you get to get home with any goodies or not. Okay, so here's the other one. This is the plain banana. Okay, well, some did stick to the paddle. But that's okay. It's all gooey. It's not gooey, it's just moist from the heat. Because it's cooked. It just has moisture in there from the heat. Cooked all the way through. Okay, good. And the paddle didn't come out, which is okay. But it did have some of the flour stuff on there. I don't like it when that happens. So let's turn it around. Okay, now let's cut it. Let's see what we came up with. Okay, well that's cooked all the way through. Let's do the middle. I cooked all the way through. It just looks like a little moist, but it did bake. It baked. So now let's do the taste test. I'm going to knock off that flour stuff before I put it in the container. That's just flour that didn't mix in the little corners. You do want to get your small spatula, plastic spatula, a flimsy one, so you can get and dig in the corners of the bottom of the pans, because there's where that flour. See, there's no. I hope you can see that. I'm gonna angle this in case there's a glare. There's no flour in there, but there's flour on the bottom, as you can see. Let me pick this up. I just wash my hands so they're clean. So you can see the flour on the bottom here. And that's just because it just didn't mix well, but the other one didn't have that problem. I did the same thing. I did mix it in between its mixing process. You know, when it stops, it mixes, then it stops, and it mixes, and it stops. So when it stopped, I went in there and I got my spatula and I went all the way in the corners, but I guess I didn't do it good enough. Here we go, taste test. I love the crust. It almost tastes kind of like a pound cake. This crust part here. But that's good. This is a good recipe, and I definitely will put it in the description box. And I'll also have it as a flyer at the beginning of the video. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next video. Don't forget to hit like, comment, and share. Bye-bye.